Sag mal, spinnst du? Willst du mich fertig machen oder was?
Hm?
Papa, ich rede mit dir.
Also, wenn es um Ihren Vater geht, da bin ich nicht der Richtige. Aber wenn Sie Ihr Charisma ausbauen wollen oder wenn Sie merken, dass Sie anfangen zu telefonieren, obwohl niemand dran ist, dann können Sie mich gern kontaktieren, jederzeit. Da ist mein Mann.
Welcome to Kermode Uncut. If you're a regular listener to the Radio 5 live film review show I do with Simon Mayo, you'll know how much I love Toni Erdmann, which is currently out in cinemas and is a contender for the Best Foreign Language Film Oscar at the forthcoming Academy Awards. It's a wonderful film. It is that most unlikely of things, a 3-hour German comedy about father-daughter estrangement that manages to be both incredibly funny and incredibly poignant and painful. It has a fantastic central performance by Sandra Hüller, who you may remember some years ago I gave a Kermode Award for Best Actress for her brilliant performance in Requiem, an extraordinary piece of work. She's a wonderful actor and she's so great in Toni Erdmann. And despite the fact that it's the best part of 3 hours long, what I love about the film is that it really never puts a foot out of place. Every single moment is there for a reason. In fact, there's a story that Marinati, who made it, shot like 100 or so hours of footage just to find those moments that make up the film itself. Well, the film has been so well received that now we have news, inevitable perhaps, that it's going to be remade. And it's going to be remade, starring Kristin Wiig and Jack Nicholson. This news broke in the Hollywood trade press just last week. Variety said, sources tell Variety that Jack Nicholson, who turned 80 this year, was a huge fan of the original and approached Paramount's Brad Gray with the idea, and Gray immediately worked with the team at Paramount to secure the rights. It's Nicholson's first film since playing a role in the James L. Brooks dramedy How Do You Know, which many in Hollywood thought could have been the actor's last major film. He also starred in the 2007 film The Bucket List opposite Morgan Freeman. The less said about that, the better. Now, look, here's the thing. I really like Kristin Wiig, who has also got a producer's role. I really like Jack Nicholson, who, when he's great, is really good. And I absolutely love Toni Erdmann. So why does the thought of a remake of Toni Erdmann starring those two fill me with such chills? It's very simple. We don't need a remake. The version we have now is absolutely perfect. There is nothing wrong with it. It's one of the few 5-star films I can think of recently which there is nothing I would change about it. So why is it being remade? The only answer is that the remake will be in the English language. Now, that's not to say that the remake will not be any good at all, but how can it improve upon the original other than changing it from one language into another, which apparently will widen the audience? Now, this argument comes up time and time again. Oh yeah, okay, well, you love that film in that language, but you know what? If we remake it in English, it'll be seen by a much wider audience. Yeah, look at how that's worked out in the past. I mean, think, for example, of Michael Haneke making Funny Games, a really, really tough watch, but a film which he felt hadn't found its true audience because it was in the wrong language. So he remade it in a different language, almost shot for shot the same film, and the remake was terrible. Think of what happened to George Sluizer with The Vanishing, a wonderful film remade in the English language. Yes, they changed the ending. Yes, they messed a million things up about it. But the fact of the matter is, it got remade because people thought it was only saleable in the English language. Look, it's very simple. Until audiences get their head around the idea that there is nothing wrong with reading subtitles, there is nothing wrong with foreign language cinema, there is nothing that can fundamentally be improved by simply changing something into the English language, we're going to keep coming up against this problem. Every time you have a foreign language film, by which I mean any film that isn't predominantly in English, somebody's going to go, hey, let's remake that in American. Think of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. That was great the first time round on film. Did we really need to see it remade, even by a director of the stature of David Fincher? Now, the one thing that perhaps justifies Toni Erdmann is the fact that its writer-director said that one of the films that inspired her, bizarrely enough, was a French film called Mon Père c'est Héros, My Father the Hero, which was remade from French into English with the same star, Gérard Depardieu. Now, the thing is, I hate that film in both versions. It was rubbish in French and it was rubbish in the English language. Maybe it's going to be the case that Toni Erdmann will be brilliant in German and brilliant in the English language. But honestly, Toni Erdmann's fine. Toni Erdmann's brilliant. Toni Erdmann doesn't need remaking. Jack, really? If you love it that much, walk away.